We're at Ford today with UK Evo for some old school motocross fun. As you can see, the track here is a spectacular natural circuit, perfect for some bar-to-bar action on these old school bikes. We're hooking up with Lewis Trickett today to find out all about his one-of-a-kind ride. My name's Max, this is 999 Laser, and a new race season has finally begun. Listen to that biker Trickett out the gate, what a sound. And he shuts the door and gets so Trickett into the lead. This is Trickett's chance to grab a race win here on this one-of-a-kind ride. So let's start off then, just talk us through your racing situation at the moment. Obviously pro rider for years, and what motocross is for you at the moment.
As you said, raced professional motocross for, can't remember, I mean from 2012 to 2017. Obviously chased that dream, had some success, had some pretty nasty injuries along the way. And like now, I mean, I'm 28, my body's fairly tired, you know, compared to normal 28-year-olds, you know. And then priorities take over in life with work, and you know, recently got a house with my other half, so priorities change. And then I still had that bug for riding and racing, and I feel like the point that I'm at in my career now, this sort of stuff just came along, and to be honest, it's the most fun I've had riding a bike in probably the last 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, well, I'm Martin Perrett, and my brother John Perrett built me a Triumph when I was 20, which I raced in the British Support Championship with a Triumph engine in his own frame. And then in later life, I've always wanted to use that engine with a decent gearbox and frame. Mike David does all the welding, he's a professional welder. I do all the machining, milling and tuning. And putting it together, really.
Tell us how you came in contact with B&H, the guys there, and what this contraption is that you're riding, if you can try and explain what it is.
Yeah, so it actually came about through work. Long story short, I was at work, and a friend of mine, Benny Gould, is good friends with these guys from B&H, and he said to me, you know, we were both at work, and he said, "Oh, how do you feel about riding a twin shop?" And I said, "No, mate," I said, not for me. You know, the thought of it just didn't really excite me. And so anyway, he said, you know, they're a really nice bunch of guys. They've got a small circuit on their land where they build these things. Went up, tried it, and the Triumph engine, it's a twin cylinder 530cc. Martin will probably correct me if I'm wrong. And the engine is just unbelievable. Like the torque and the smooth linear power output is like so much different than anything I've ever ridden. And it just put a smile on my face. And actually the twin shocks, like the twin shock rear suspension, isn't that bad as I thought it was going to be. And just loved it from the first minute. And then they said, you know, do you want to come and do a few local scrambles? So went and did those, and then a few Super Evos last year, so here we are.
Well, the engine's originally out of just an 0500 Triumph road bike. They have cast iron barrels, which is what my brother built for me back in 1979. But I've got some moulds, I've had some Mali barrels cast, they're nickel sealed, so they're lightweight. Obviously with a little KTM gearbox and, you know, the lighter frame. And then moving on again to the one that Lewis is riding, is in a KTM 1985 frame, single shock converted to twin shock, and this time we've got same concept, the same gearbox, but the engine's got a downdraft Del Orto, bigger pipe, higher compression, and revs a lot harder.
I think everyone watching is going to want to know what it's like to ride something like that. Obviously it sounds insane.
Yeah.
Left-sided kickstart. It's
actually not as heavy as you think, and the weight is right, because the head is actually turned around backwards, kind of like the newer like 450 Yams, you know, the heads are back round the wrong way. So the weight's actually really nice, although it is slightly heavier, it's heavy in the right place. So going round corners is absolutely fine. I mean, you can still scrub it, jump it, etc. It feels really good. Yeah, I love riding it. I never ride it and think, oh, that was a little bit sketchy, or I never like have moments on it and feel like I'm riding sketchy fast. I feel like I can push the bike, to be fair, without being on that sort of ragged edge. So I mean, what these guys have put together, and I mean, you'd have to speak to Martin to find out all the technical info on what's going on, because it baffles me. I just know that it sounds awesome, it rides really good, and yeah, I can go pretty fast on it, which is a bonus. So
what kind of buzz do you guys seeing someone like Lewis out there on your bike doing so well?
Oh, well, it's great fun, really. I was not very well actually for a while. Just my son was not very well, and he's injured, so no one was riding it. And somebody knew Luke Hill, and he said he'd ride it to start with, and he started going so well. And then I decided I was going to just have a year off and just ride it myself. Went practicing, hence the shoulder injury that I've just had off on. And then again, no one's riding it, and another friend of a friend knows Lewis. And Lewis wasn't doing anything, and he came up our farm, had a practice, loved the bike, wanted to race it. And obviously now we've gone on, we've built him a new bike that's not here today.
Tell us about the UK Evo series then, the general vibe and why it's so cool to go and race this series.
Yeah, it's awesome. One, because the tracks are really good. They're a little bit more old school. They're fast, they're flowing. They don't tend to rip and rotivate them really deep. So there's a lot of passing opportunities, a lot of different line changes and things like that. So firstly, yeah, the tracks are cool, and just the whole laid-back vibe as well. Everybody's here because they love riding. They love the old classic bikes and the Evo bikes and things like that, and I think everyone just seems to be in such a good mood at these events, as am I as well. We love it, yeah.
So the Super Evo under 45 class are lining up ready for their first moto of the day. We look out for the 272 of Neville Bradshaw on Big Red. Our riders are lined up, the green flag is up, and we're about to go racing. Listen to that biker Trickett out of the gate, what a sound. It looks like Bradshaw and Big Red have got a great jump. So yeah, Big Red takes the whole shot ahead of Christian McGill. James Harrison up there as well. And Lewis Trickett looks like he's in 4th place early on. But Luke Hill flying down the back straight there. He takes 4th spot from Lewis Trickett, the 214 bike. So Trickett sits 5th now. Luke Hill 4th. James Harrison 3rd. McGill 2nd, and Neville Bradshaw leads the way. But Trickett sneaks up the inside of Luke Hill to retake 4th position. And he now has Harrison in his sights. Neville Bradshaw and Big Red lead the way ahead of Christian McGill, James Harrison and Lewis Trickett. And just look how good this track looks here at Ford. Harrison just wide, and Trickett sneaks up the inside, so that's another spot for Lewis Trickett on the Triumph machine. He now sits in 3rd position on this opening lap. He's making some good moves early on in this race. And if he wants to keep Neville Bradshaw within his sights, he's going to have to get a move on and get past Christian McGill here, because Bradshaw isn't slowing down for anyone. So Trickett down the inside of McGill at the bottom of the hill. He shuts the door on the gas on the Triumph, up the hill, past the finish line. And Trickett has made the move back. McGill fights back. Bar to bar, flash out down the straight, so McGill fights back. He's not giving up that 2nd place spot quite so easily. But finally, Trickett shuts the door and firmly grasps 2nd position. So he now has Big Red, the 272 machine, directly in front of him, and he can turn his full focus, his full attention, trying to close that gap down on Neville Bradshaw, the current race leader. As we know, Neville Bradshaw is a menace. He's a machine on that CR500, that 1998 CR500. You think back to last year, he won motos on that bike against modern machines, against modern 450s. So we know what that man and that bike is capable of. So if Trickett can get close to Nev Bradshaw whilst riding this Triumph Special, that will be a feat in and of itself. So launching down the hill then for the second time. Bradshaw about to complete lap number 2 here. He drags up the hill on the CR500, followed by Trickett on the Triumph PDS machine. He's got to be careful though, because James Harrison is right there, all over his back wheel. So Trickett doesn't have second place firmly under control yet. Slight bobble, a slight mistake, and Harrison is right there, ready to pounce. It looks like Bradshaw is inching away slightly at the front of the field. Can Lewis Trickett do anything about Bradshaw? Can he regroup? Can he retaliate to this mid-moto charge from the 272 machine? Bradshaw just about still within sight of Lewis Trickett now. So the carrot is still dangling for Trickett. He can see Big Red just up ahead of him, just down the track. Bradshaw does have a comfortable lead at the moment. He can ride relaxed, not have to worry about defending the inside lines from Trickett and his monster machine. Coming into this event, they didn't really know how to categorise this bike. They raced it in the Evo class last time, so that's bikes between 1983 and 1989. But this time around, they've had to enter the Super Evo class. So Trickett takes the last lap flag, then 1 lap to go for Lewis Trickett and the Triumph. Seems as though Bradshaw is out of reach now, just a little too far down the track for Trickett to try and attempt a last lap pass here, a last ditch effort to make a move. So Trickett has actually closed in on Bradshaw in these last couple of laps. Bradshaw's lead was a little bit bigger than this at one point in the moto. So Trickett put on a late race charge here, but too little, too late. He's not going to have enough time to close in on the rear wheel of Big Red and make a move before this race is out, because we've only got a handful of corners left to go now. Dives down the hill one last time and on the gas. Neville Bradshaw takes the win then on Big Red, the 272 machine. Ahead of the 214 of Lewis Trickett, who takes second position on the Triumph PDS Special. But fair play, Trickett showing us what this bike is capable of. We go again, race 2 coming up next. So Lewis, second in race number 1 there. Just talk us through the moto. How did you start and how did you get on?
Yeah, really good, mate. Had a good start. I felt like it pulled out of the gate initially really well, and I thought maybe I could have a little bit of a hole shot here, but got out dragged by the 500s and the 250s into turn 1. I think we came out like 3rd or 4th. Managed to get past James Harrison, Luke Hill. Obviously,
riders there.
Really good riders. So I was surprised at that really, and then I could see Nev. And obviously Nev's quality, and that was my goal, was just to try and stay with him.
And you did that.
And I did that, and I think, you know, credit to these guys and the bike that they put together, because I mean we've got the twin shocks in the rear, so charging down a few of the hills got a bit sketchy. You know, towards the end of the race when maybe I was getting a bit tired, but Nev was obviously well within his comfort zone. He could obviously see me there, I would have thought. So it was just cool to be able to, like on a bike,
see what it's capable of.
See what it's capable of, exactly that. And that was the toughest race that we've probably been in, you know, competition-wise. I feel like the only disadvantage maybe we're at is the shocks, but I mean, as you just saw, it's more than capable of being able to run a good pace.
Any changes for the next moto, or are you going to run it the same?
We're going to drop the forks through a little bit, just to lower the front, because I felt like I was struggling to get around some corners, especially in some of the tight turns. But other than that, that's it. We're good to go again.
We're ready to go racing. Flying start for Andrew Gillett, the 21 machine. Bradshaw up there as well in third place. So we've got Christian McGill, Andrew Gillett and Neville Bradshaw, the top three early on. Lewis Trickett sits in about 6th or 7th position at the moment. He goes bar to bar with James Harrison, the number 5 machine. So it is game on here. McGill leads Gillett, then it's Bradshaw. Lewis Trickett sits 7th place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6th place actually. Lewis Trickett sits 6th place. There's a nice scrap going on for the race lead between Christian McGill and Andrew Gillett. Bradshaw sits there in 3rd, just watching, waiting on Big Red. He knows he's got some time to make a move. He doesn't have to make it all happen right this second. Oh, McGill goes down. So McGill crashes out of the leading position, gifting Bradshaw, Harrison, Trickett and the rest a position here on this opening lap. Harrison goes up the inside of Gary Brown there, I think that is on the 241 machine. Trickett tried the same, but he missed a couple of gears going up the hill. So that means he's actually lost a spot in that exchange there. So certainly not an ideal start to this race for Lewis Trickett on the Triumph PDS machine. He's got some work to do now if he wants to get back into a podium position and keep Neville Bradshaw within his sights. He reclaims that spot he lost just a couple of corners ago. So now he has the 241 machine of Gary Brown on that CR500 just ahead of him. He goes round, uses the outside line on the gas. Can he dive up the inside of Brown? Yes, an aggressive move there from Lewis Trickett to take that position away from Gary Brown. Trickett now has his old buddy James Harrison ahead of him. On the gas, they go up the hill, the back straight through the trees. Trickett closing right onto the rear wheel of James Harrison now. They launch down the hill. Trickett looking to make an inside move on Harrison. Oh, he loses the front end. Trickett goes down. He eats some dirt. And it looks like that bike has stalled, which is a disaster for Trickett. And it looks like Trickett, it's a left-sided kickstart, remember, on this thing as well. So let's see if Trickett can get her started. And he seems to be struggling. When she's hot, she doesn't want to start. He's pushing her off the track, out of the way. So seemingly this race is over for Lewis Trickett and the Triumph. Heartbreaking for Trickett and the BNH team to get that bike off of the track and out of the way of the oncoming riders. The leaders will be coming back around. Here they are now. Neville Bradshaw has taken the race lead then on the Big Red, the 272 machine. He comes charging up the hill. And he will take the race victory. Another moto win for Neville Bradshaw and Big Red. He crosses the line to take the win in race number 2. Meanwhile, Trickett desperately still trying to get his bike going, trying to bump start it. With a travelling marshal there giving him some assistance. Ingenious. There we go. So finally, Trickett gets his bike going and he can bring her home at the back of the pack. They will be looking for redemption in race number 3. Lewis, a little reversal of fortunes there in that race. Just talk us through what happened.
It just really sucked the whole lot. I got a really bad start, and then every time I was trying to sort of get into a rhythm, like missed like 3 gears in one lap, I think, and just then went backwards, and then got a little bit agitated, and then I tried to settle down, and then sort of I was behind James Harrison, who's a good friend of mine. Obviously spent a lot of years racing together, so straight away it was like my old racing instinct came back, and looked like there was a bit of grip at the bottom of the hill. James went wide, and I tried to put a turn in on that, and it was just on top of like marbly slick stuff, so I fell over, and the old girl didn't want to fire back up again. So
Probably on the left side, he kick-started it.
And short legs, yeah, literally. So yeah, we'll forget that one.
Going in the end though.
Got it going in the end and just sort of rode round to the finish. But to be honest, I was knackered trying to start it. Yeah. But yeah,
we go again.
It's all good. We go again, bro. We go again.
After a disastrous second moto, Lewis Trickett will be looking for redemption in this third and final Super Evo race of the day. Build it up. Revs are high, heads are down, and the gates have dropped. A flying start from the 56 machine there. But it looks like it's Bradshaw, the 272 bike with the race lead, with the whole shot. Bad news for the rest of the pack. You've got Christian McGill up there as well. Andrew Gillett and James Harrison, along with Lewis Trickett, who rounds out the top 5 on this opening lap of the final moto. Some great drive for Trickett though. Out of that corner, he makes 2 passes down that straight to take third position away from Christian McGill and James Harrison. So he now only has Gillett and Bradshaw ahead of him. And the rest of the pack come charging on behind. Tell you what, Andrew Gillett is feeling it in this race. He's all over the rear wheel of Neville Bradshaw on this opening lap of action. They go bar to bar up the back straight. But Bradshaw defends for now. He holds onto the race lead. Gillett there on the 21 machine in second, and then it's Lewis Trickett scrubbing down the hill. Hard on the brakes, he uses the inside line at the bottom. He likes that inside line there on the Triumph. What's this? Bradshaw! A problem for Bradshaw. He pulls up on the side of the track, allowing Gillett to take the race lead. Trickett moves into second then as Bradshaw drops down a couple of positions. Not quite sure what happened to him there. Whether he had a moment, is it bike issues, or is he just letting the pack pass to have some fun racing? He's dropped back into 4th position now then. Harrison sits 3rd, Bradshaw 4th. So the race is well and truly on now. This is Trickett's opportunity. This is Trickett's chance to grab a race win here on this one-of-a-kind ride. Can he make it happen? He's got Gillett ahead of him, and he's got Harrison separating him from Neville Bradshaw. So this is the ultimate opportunity for Lewis Trickett here. He needs to make a pass happen quickly on the current race leader, Andrew Gillett. He wants a shot at this race win. He needs to put as much distance between himself and Bradshaw as possible. Here they come charging up the back straight. Gillett leads Trickett, who leads Harrison, and then it's Neville Bradshaw in 4th position. Trickett's feeling it, scrubbing these jumps. Launches down the hill. He's got the inside line and he switches up to the outside on Gillett. Back to the inside then. And he shuts the door on Gillett, so Trickett into the lead. Lewis Trickett has the race lead on that Triumph PDS machine. What a turn of events. We certainly did not expect to see Trickett at the front of the pack on this bike today. But here we have it. He leads the race at the moment. He leads the field around this awesome track here at Ford. And what an effort from Trickett. What a machine that B&H have produced here. And for the first time today, Trickett has some fresh air. But look at that. Neville Bradshaw has made a move into third place. He's dispatched James Harrison. So Bradshaw is the man on the move now. He's into third. He's all over the back of the 21 machine of Andrew Gillett. So Bradshaw is certainly the danger man at the moment on board Big Red. But all Trickett can do is focus forward and concentrate on his own race. Look how comfortable he looks on that bike, scrubbing his way through that 3-pack of jumps. Down the hill he goes. Looking mighty fine on that bike. You wouldn't think that that's a twin shock machine. And look at that, just like that, Neville Bradshaw into second position. As we reach the halfway point of this moto, it's game time. Bradshaw is on the hunt. His sights are firmly set on the 214 machine of Lewis Trickett. These leading pair breaking away from the rest of the pack now. Charging through. Bradshaw is quickly closing in on the rear wheel of Trickett on the Triumph. So Big Red is there. Trickett will be able to hear the CR500 all over him now. Bradshaw rides that bike like a 125. Just remember that's a big old CR500 he's riding there with plenty of horsepower up these hills. And he's all over the rear wheel of Trickett now. So can Trickett defend as they come charging down the hill? Bradshaw diving to the inside. So Bradshaw using that inside line that Trickett has favoured so much in this race. And just like that, he makes the pass with the lead happen. Can Trickett retaliate as they drag race up the hill and pass the finish line around the back marker? What can Trickett do? The both riders are on the gas. And Trickett outbreaks himself into that corner. So Bradshaw now has a firm grasp on the race lead, the position that he lost earlier on in this race. Bradshaw jumps down the hill with the race lead. Trickett second or two behind him now. So he's losing touch a little bit with Bradshaw as they take the last lap flag. So 1 lap to go then for our Super Evo heroes. Final lap of the day for Trickett on board this special ride. And what a treat it has been to see this machine racing here at Ford today. So Bradshaw takes a look over to see where Trickett is on this final lap. Like we said, he has a comfortable grasp on the race lead now, so it looks like this moto win will go the way of Big Red, barring any mishaps on this last half of the lap. Just a couple of seconds separating them now, but with 1 corner to go, Trickett just isn't close enough to make a last ditch pass for the race lead. He launches down the hill for the final time today. Neville Bradshaw takes the race win. He takes maximum points here today. Lewis Trickett across the line in second place. He's done himself proud and he's done B&H proud. What a ride.
Last race was so much fun. Yeah, it was really good. Better start, I think third out the start, and then I don't actually know what happened to Nev at the top of the hill. He looked like he was about to pull off the track. I don't know whether he had a bit of a moment, but he slowed down. Matey in second nearly went in the back of him, so it kind of gave me a good run. And yeah, that lap managed to get into the lead, and I was really enjoying being out front, and then Nev caught me, and to be honest, I'm just not fit enough. It really was that towards the end. I was just really tired, shoulders were gone, arms were a little bit pumped up, and I think it's just lack of riding, obviously through lockdown, etc. And don't get on the bike anywhere near enough, but it's not an excuse. I really enjoyed it. It was cool to lead, and I think it's just a massive credit to what these guys are doing in their workshop, you know, to be able to run somewhere handy to someone like Nev. He's on a Super Evo bike. I don't know what year it is. It's a 98 Honda. I mean, they're really good bikes. So yeah, credit to these guys, and yeah, I'm just grateful to have the opportunity to go and have a load of fun on something so different, and something that really is enjoyable to ride as well.
Next time at the races, we'll see you on that.
Yeah, on the modern hybrid. Yeah, hopefully. We rode it 2 weeks ago and it was running really, really nice. So yeah, I'm not sure when the next round is, but we'll be on that then. So maybe we'll get a little bit closer on that. We'll see. Cool. Cheers, guys.
A couple of times throughout this video, we've heard mention of a new bike that B&H have built. But what exactly is this new machine?
We actually came here to ride the new model that the guys here have designed, and that's actually the same engine, albeit it's a little bit better. It's got double fuel injection system, and that's in a 2015 KTM frame.
Well, we built them really just for twin shock racing, really. It's an old 50s Triumph pushrod engine. Yeah, we've got it revving to about 10,000. It's on its limit, we thought. And we didn't think it had enough power to go further, but Lewis thinks it has. So we've built it into a 2015 single shock KTM frame with the latest KTM gearbox, with the engine, the whole engine's reversed the other way, KTM electrics, 2 fuel injectors, same basic engine, standard crank, standard pistons, old 5TA head, higher compression, and he went out 2 weeks ago on it actually in an Evo race, and well, would have won every race, but the back brake broke on the last race. But we put it on the rolling road ready for this meeting and blew it up on the rolling road through an engineering fault. But it'll be out, and it is mega.
I hope you enjoyed this video, guys. We'll be back soon with episode number 2, where Lewis will be riding that new hybrid machine. It's been an awesome day, such a chill vibe, and a big thanks goes out to the organisers here for having us down. If you want to see more videos like this in the future, be sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. As always, guys, I've been Max, this has been 999 Laser. Until next time, I'll see you at the track.